Welcome students to grade 12. Yeah. So now before we start our session, I want you all to close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Think that you're filling yourself with positivity. Take a deep breath again. Relax yourself. Open your eyes slowly. Welcome students. We are into grade 12 where we are going to learn about the advanced programming of Python. Okay? So all these days during our grade 11 we have learned the basic programming in Python. Yes? Are you all programmers? No, I'm not able to hear. Aloud. Yes, you are all programmers. You have started the basic programming. So be happy and have a josh and get into the deep dive of advanced programming. Yes? Now, today we are going to see the chapter 1 which tells about the revision tour of whatever we learnt in grade 11. Yes, the learning objectives, bare bones of Python program, tokens in Python which tells about the keywords, identifiers, literals, operators and punctuators. Bare bones of Python program. Such a long topic. What is it? What is it about? Nothing. It is very simple. It's only about the basic structure of a basic Python program. So let's see what are the parts available or what are the sections available in the Python program. Now I'm showing you a sample program with which we are going to learn the different sections. Yeah. So hash. This program shows program components. What is this? Is it a Greek or Latin for you? No, right? Yeah. It's an instruction given to the programmer. Yeah, it's a comment line which is non-executable. The interpreter never executes such statements when it is preceded with a hash. So hash, the second hash tells that there is a function definition of CU. CU is the function name. Next comes a dark blue section which tells def. What do you mean by def? What does the Python interpreter understand when we see the keyword def? It is the function definition. It tells about a function, a module, a Kutti module. Yeah? So def, CU, open bracket, close bracket, colon. And comes print, open bracket, quotes, goodbye, and you have the close quotes, close bracket. This is the print statement which comes under the function CU. So this fully covers a function definition section. Now comes one more comment line, hash main program, which tells the programmer that a main segment of the program is started. Now the gray section which tells A is equal to 5, B is equal to A minus 10. Print A plus 3. So all these three lines or the statements, they tell these are the expressions or the simple statement or input statements or output statements. But in this example, we don't have an input statement. We are assigning the values directly. Okay. So now comes the if statement, which is the control statement. We have studied the control statements in our grade 11. Okay. So if B is greater than 5, colon, print value of A was more than 15 initially. So we check whether the value of B is greater than 5. If it is greater than 5, it returns, the condition returns a true value and it tells we have to print this particular statement which is given under the true section. Next comes the else part, that is your false part for the condition. If B is not greater than 5, that is less than or equal to 5. Then print value of A was 15 or less initially. Yes. Now, the last statement in the program, main program, is your CU open bracket, close bracket. Why do we use this again? We've already defined the function. Why do we want to use it again? Yes, we have to call it to execute it. Then only the Python interpreter will know that it has to call the function and execute and provide the result. Okay? So that's why we are calling it. Next, inside the if structure, we have an indentation placed for the prints. There is an indentation given for the print statement inside if as well as for else. This tells that that particular statement which has a horizontal tab is within that particular segment. If you don't provide that indentation, then it is taken as a next new statement. Clear? So these are the bare bones of Python program. Tokens in Python. So we saw already that keywords, identifiers, that is the names, literals, operators and punctuators are the tokens. But what is a token? Token is the basic unit of a Python program. It can be of any of these types, not an issue. Okay, so now we are going to see what is a keyword. What is a keyword? I know that you people know, but I just want to recollect and make you remember things. Okay, so if they are asking some theoretical question, you should be able to answer what is a keyword. So for that purpose, I'm just telling you what is a keyword. A keyword is a word having special meaning reserved by programming language. All the Python keywords contain only lowercase letters. Fine, remember that all keywords will contain only lowercase letters. Clear? Let's see few examples. And, assert, break, input, print, if, while. I've given so many examples. I'm just telling few. Okay? So, these are the keywords which we are using. Now about identifiers. Identifiers. These are the names given to the different parts of the program. Yeah? Different parts of the program? What are the parts of the program? We have already seen. But what is this? It speaks about the variables, objects, classes, functions, list, dictionary, and so forth. We have so many. So for all these, we are using only identifiers. Let's see few valid examples and few invalid examples. Valid examples are in my file, I'm keeping capital M. Okay, so this tells that the identifier name is my file, which has only alphabets. Next comes uppercase my file. This is also valid input. Next comes underscore chk. So why isn't underscore there? Is it valid? Yes, only underscore can be given inside an identifier. So this is valid. Next comes Z2T0Z9. What is this? You have the combination of alphabets and numbers. Next comes date 9_7_77. So only underscore is included in with the combination of alphabets and numbers. Then comes underscore ds, which are all smaller case. Yeah, we can use both small case as well as uppercase. So if I tell underscore ds in lowercase and I'm once again specifying underscore ds in uppercase, are they different or same? Are they same? No, not at all. They are both different. Uppercase and lowercase are differentiated and the interpreter takes it differently. Next comes file 13. This is also a combination of alphanumerics. Next, invalid identifiers, data hyphen record or REC. Here hyphen is invalid. You can't use it. 29 CLCT. Here The first character is a number. It is invalid. You have to use only underscore or alphabet. Break. What is break? It's a keyword. How can you use it as an identifier? No, it's wrong. Next, my dot file. Here dot is invalid. You can't use it. Now the naming convention for Python identifiers. The class names start with an uppercase letter. All other identifiers start with a lowercase letter. Starting an identifier with a single leading underscore indicates that the identifier is private. Starting an identifier with two leading underscores indicates a strongly private identifier. If the identifier also ends with two trailing underscores, the identifier is a language-defined special name. So here we have an exception. What is that exception? The class name can have uppercase letter. Okay, so that is the exception. Now comes the literals. Let's see an example here. String literal is there. So first type of literal we are seeing here is string literal. So here we have given S is equal to hide and seek, T is equal to hide and seek with space in between the words. Then comes M is equal to hide. In next statement we are using and seek. All together is within M. Print S, print T, print M. So what is the output? As we have given in within the codes, it is taken as an output. It is printed as an output. Clear? So for S, when we print, it is printed as hide and seek without any space. When it is printed as T, hide, space and space, seek. When it is printed as M, hide, next line and space, seek. This is how it goes. So this is how strings are handled. Next is the numeric literal. These numeric literal are immutable. The values, the data type of the variables cannot be changed. That is the meaning of immutable. Integer literal, binary literal, decimal literal, octal literal, hexadecimal literal are the types of numeric literals. And also we have float, yes, and also complex numbers. Yeah, these all come under numeric literals. So I've given few examples. You can just go through it. And for float literal, I've given one example. And for complex literal also, there's an example. Here I want to specify more about complex literal because this is a special feature in Python. Only in Python we have the data type for complex literal where Z is equal to 5 plus 3j is an example for complex literal. Here the real part of Z is 5 and imaginary part of Z is 3. Clear? I guess you recollected whatever we learned in numeric literals last year. Now about Boolean literal. What is Boolean? True or false? So if a condition or a statement returns true, then it is Boolean. If it returns false, then also it is true. I mean, it is a Boolean. Clear? There's an example you can go through. Now comes special literals. What is a special literal? It is a single term. It is a single word, that is none. What is none? None is the null variable. It is a null variable. If none is compared with anything else other than a none, it will return only false. Clear? None cannot be compared with anything. If it is compared with any other value, it will return only false because none is not equal to anything else. It is nothing. There is an example. Water underscore remain is equal to null. Print water underscore remain. So it prints what? None. Now about operators. Operators in general are used to perform operations on values and variables in Python. So in this statement, I told about values and variables. What is the difference between value and variable? This is a very important concept. It is the basic concept which we should be clear. What is a value? Value is the entity which we are assigning to a variable. So what is variable? Variable is the name given to a value. Clear? So this is the difference between value and variable. So these are standard symbols. What are the standard symbols? Operators. Yeah. Operators are the standard symbols used for the purpose of logical, arithmetic, relational operations. What is an operation? It is a combination of operands and operators together, contributing an expression to give a result. Yes? So there are so many types of operators: arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, bitwise operators, assignment operators, and special operators. Arithmetic operators, the operators which perform arithmetic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, exponentiation, and modulus. So let's see the difference. We know the operators already, right? Plus for addition, minus for subtraction, asterisk for multiplication, slash for division. Floor division is double slash, modulus percentage. Then comes your double asterisk, which tells about exponentiation. So what is the difference between slash and double slash? That is division and floor division. Division returns a value which is integer. And double slash, that is floor division, that returns integer. I made a mistake here. That is division. Single slash returns float value and floor division returns integer value. Okay. So then comes modulus, which returns the remainder. Yeah. In division, we have the divisor and the dividend. After we divide, we get the remainder. The remainder is returned when modulus is done. Then comes exponentiation, which gives the power. Now, the relational operators. Relational operators, they just compare two operands and tell what is what and returns true or false. So, what are the operators there? Less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, not equal to, and equal to. But here we take double equal to for a comparison operator of equal sign. Okay. So then comes logical operators. Logical operators are and, or, and not. And it combines and checks both the conditions. If you have more than two conditions and you want to check whether all the conditions have to be true, then we go for AND operator. If any one of the multiple conditions need to be true, then we go for OR condition, OR operator. Now comes NOT, which checks if the operand is false. Yes? So this is how we do, not X. That should return actually true, but it checks for whether it is not X. Then comes bitwise operators. Ampersand, pipe symbol for bitwise OR, ampersand for bitwise AND. Bitwise NOT is a tilde character, cap symbol for bitwise XOR. Bitwise right shift is double less than symbol and double greater than symbol for bitwise left shift. Now comes assignment operators and arithmetic assignment operators. So arithmetic, a simple assignment operator is equal to, which just assigns a value or an expression, the result of the expression to a variable. A is equal to 10, A is equal to B plus C. Here, equal to works as an assignment operator. Then comes operators which are special. What are the special operators? Identity operator, membership operator. Is and is not is the identity operator. In the place of equal to, you can just try to use is or is not. Membership operators are in and not in. So if we want to check in a sequence of values whether a particular value is present or not, what do? We use in and not in. Next is the punctuators. So we have so many punctuators. For header name, we use angle brackets. For list and for array delimiter, we use square bracket. Then for flower braces is for initializing the list, function body, compound statement delimiter. Yeah. Then comes the normal bracket, which gives the parameter list for the function. Then pointer declaration, assignment list separator, statement label, declaration initializer, and we have so many. There are so many punctuators available. Even the hash symbol which we are using for comment line is called as a punctuator. Now, all the operators have been discussed and the punctuators is also explained. So, I'm going to conclude this session with whatever we have seen all these time. Okay, so we have seen the basic structure of a Python program, and then about the tokens. Those are keywords, identifiers, literals and types of literals, operators, and then the types of operators and punctuators. These are only the basic things which we have seen now, and these basic things continue for next 2 chapters also. So we will continue in the next session. Thank you, children. Meet you again.